Welcome back to Unstabled. I am Jeff Steckel, aka Big Steck, your humble and loyal host who's been here since the beginning and almost since the beginning on this AFC South show. With me, as always, is Justin at Kingmaker_DFF. He's our fantasy guru, dynasty guy. How are you doing, man?
Oh man, feeling blessed, bro. Just getting ready for this combine coming up, and man, hopefully seeing some future Colts.
Yeah, for sure. It's been chaotic. The last time we came to y'all was halftime at the Super Bowl, and boy, did nobody won with that game. Such a dud, but it's done. It's in the past. It was probably one of the least eventful Super Bowls since I think Peyton Manning. He got smoked by the Seattle Seahawks. That was probably one of the worst Super Bowls. But I think this one was close to it.
Yeah, the score wouldn't have been as close without like a couple late garbage time touchdowns. It meant nothing. Backups are already in for the Eagles. Like they knew they had it won. There was statistically there was no possible way the Chiefs could have won. So if I'm the Eagles, like I would have let them score 3 touchdowns because you weren't gonna come back and win at that deficit. The Eagles just had their number. Patrick Mahomes looked human. There was no issue with the Eagles. They just dominated, man.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully a little taste of humility for Chiefs fans who think that, well, excuse me, sunny day Chiefs fans, these modern Chiefs fans. So I can't even really call them Chiefs fans. They're more Mahomes fans.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with the Golden State Warrior fans, the Seattle Seahawks fans of 2012. Like
they
the same
group.
They
don't exist.
Yeah. It's the same group of people just bouncing from team to team.
Mm-hmm. So I said going into this, and I think I even put it on X. I didn't get not a lot of hate responses because what could people say? I've said over and over that Chiefs team was probably the worst team to make the Super Bowl since the Rex Grossman Bears against the Colts. Like
sexy Rexy.
Yeah, Rex Grossman had some great games and some terrible games. Patrick Mahomes never really looked good this year. Like I had him in fantasy football, and he was a huge letdown. I had Kelsey, huge letdown. It was just.
And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Patrick Mahomes let down all the fantasy owners. He didn't do anything to win you a week. He wasn't somebody that you were like, oh man, I'm so happy I took Patrick Mahomes in the first round. If you took Patrick Mahomes in the first or second round, you
got screwed.
You felt like a jackass, to be honest with
you. Two thumbs and is the jackass.
If you stole a guy like Jared Goff late, oh man, good. You were feeling amazing. Jared Goff killed it for you this year based on the value.
Yeah. I didn't feel any of that. And I think in one draft, I had the Homer high hopes Colts, with Anthony Richardson. And he had some good fantasy games, but
which is funny because you sniped me on him. I was going to go after Anthony because it was so late enough. I was like, okay, I could take a flyer on him. Now you sniped me, and I was like, dang it, Jeff. And then it worked out.
It worked out better for you than it did for me. It was a tough, probably one of my worst fantasy years. I played a little bit with my heart, and
I think you still did pretty good. If I remember, you were like upper half of the pack, weren't you? No.
So I was always in the bottom of the barrel in that.
Okay. Well, hey, that's why you got to subscribe and you got to absorb my content, brother.
With the pick'ems though, I was in the top and then I stopped playing, but. Yeah, there was one week where I went 14 of 14 in the pick'em, so I can at least hang my hat on that one. But
I can't say the same for Alex. I think Alex went 0 in everything.
Yeah, he didn't do a single one single pick. Oh,
Alex said, "Watch me, hold my beer."
So obviously, you guys can read. You can read the title. We're in off-season mode. We're coming up, like Justin said, to the combine. Draft's right around the corner. Before that, obviously, free agency. It's all coming up. 6 months until the 2025 season kicks off. So we got time, but we are rolling into the 2025 off-season, and there's a lot of stuff that the Colts need to do, and hopefully they're active. Chris Ballard typically is sat on his hands, but there's opportunity. There's a lot of cap space, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to clear up cap space to make some moves. And so we'll just kind of go into that. And the first thing we wanted to talk about was our, I guess, top 3 positions of needs for the Colts. And that's not to say that 3 players are going to fix this team. It's just probably our weakest groups that need a little extra TLC. Tender love and care, not the group.
Hey, don't be go chasing waterfalls over here, okay?
Because I don't want no scrubs. So I don't know if you want to list off. I don't know if you want to go with your top position group of need.
Man, so I got one on offense and one on defense, but on offense, tight end is going to be our biggest need for the passing game. But every offense rolls through the offensive line. I don't know if you viewers have paid attention. We are going to be losing a lot of offensive linemen here in free agency. I would say we need to shore up the offensive line first. And I say that only over the tight ends because Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell will come along. Okay, so let's not worry about Adonai Mitchell. The talent is there. Adonai Mitchell has so much talent. It's there. And then, of course, you've got Steady Eddie, Michael Pittman. Okay. We will be losing Ashton Doolin, so he's going to be gone. We are going to be losing tight ends. Like Kylan Granson will be gone. Well, like Cox will be gone. They should be. They better not get re-signed.
Mo Alley-Cox should have been gone like 3 years ago. I'm beating a dead horse. I've said it over and over.
Yeah. And then Jonathan Taylor. And if you're paying Jonathan Taylor, I think the formula says you have to shore up your offensive line. That is a formula that's worked for every championship team. They have a quality offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowboys, Emmitt Smith was good, don't get me wrong, but they made Emmitt Smith into one of the top 3 running backs of all time.
I mean, you could also make the argument because Barry Sanders' line was not good, and he was one of the best of all time.
Barry Sanders was made of magic and unicorns. That dude could do anything. Like, when it comes to running backs, outside of Jim Brown, because that dude, like, he was the NFL. They didn't know how to pass a football back then. I'm joking, they did. But no, Barry Sanders 100% made of magic and unicorns. But the only reason I'm going with offensive line is because we have the running back, we have the receivers, and if you really want to invest in Anthony Richardson, you got to build an offensive line around him. Ask Andrew Luck how that worked out.
Yeah, well, he's not in the league, so
he had weapons. I can't really say he had a good running back, but he had weapons, but he didn't have an offensive line, and he stayed hurt. So keep the kid healthy. Go offensive line.
I mean, this is a little bit off topic. I'll get into mine in just a second. You just reminded me of something. That team, those teams that Peyton Manning had. I mean, dude, Clark, Reggie Wayne, Stokely, Harrison, Saturday, Freeney, Mathis, Sanders. Like, they had a star-studded. Luck didn't have shit. Like, he had a back of the end career of Reggie Wayne. He had I can't name you one offensive lineman that was worth a shit. Like, I can remember Samson Satil. Doesn't mean he was good.
He had the guy from he's on Pat McAfee show sometimes. He was the center. What's his name? That guy.
Exactly.
And their defense. You're right, man. They didn't have anything. They cut like half the team when they got rid of Peyton Manning.
Name the running back from a running back from the end. Not Trent Richardson. He was one of the most productive backs for the Colts, and it's like, who?
Was Donald Brown?
He was one of them.
Andrew Luck
and
Vic Ballard. I know he was with Peyton for a little bit.
Vic Ballard was who I'm thinking of. Like, he was. I remember that back.
I didn't mind Vic Ballard. He was number 33, I believe. I didn't mind Vic Ballard.
Oh yeah, but he's. Let's just say he was never gonna he was never gonna be the top back on it.
Absolutely not. No, he wasn't. He wasn't like your breakaway franchise running back. He wasn't a Jonathan Taylor by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
I always feel stupid because I remember saying
Eric, come on,
getting that notification about Trent Richardson
with love, dude.
Saying the Colts just traded for Trent Richardson, and I was like, oh my God, we got Trent Richardson, and come to find out there's a reason why we got him so cheap, because he was garbage water.
Yeah.
So good old Ryan Grigson. He keeps failing upward. Apparently, I don't understand how Ryan Grigson's failing upward, but that's the NFL. Bad coaches keep getting jobs that they don't deserve. So
Duval. We're gonna look at you, Liam Cohen. How do you fail upwards?
Yeah, with 5 minutes of NFL experience. Hey, good for him, man. Hey, get it how
Hey,
you live, man. If you
get
hustle
your
for
money,
that spot.
get your money roll, boo boo.
Hey, just like Kellen Moore, man. Like you could be 12 years old and be a head coach in the NFL. So, but no, I think Kellen Moore's offense is great. So shout out to all the Saints fans out there. Who dat? Who you got? What's your top position of need, man?
I mean, I agree with you, but I've talked about tight end for so long, and I love Jelani Woods, but like size, speed, he's an athletic freak, can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
I've wanted to see a playmaking tight end for so long, and again in the Luck era, we didn't have one. Like we had Doyle, who was good, but he wasn't like Doyle rules. But let's be honest, him and like Eric Ebron, Luck made him better than he was. Ebron didn't do shit before or after Indianapolis. So it's like we haven't really had the tight end since Dallas Clark.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to get like, oh God, what's his name? Everyone's talking about him in the draft. His name was right there.
Tyler Warren?
Tyler Warren. Jesus. Thank you.
A lot of the big name, I don't want to say the top because I don't believe they are, but a lot of the big name analysts are mocking Tyler Warren to the Colts. And I've noticed it's between him and another guy that we'll talk about here shortly.
We'll talk about it later. But yeah, so my top is going to be tight end, and I know people like even if Alex is watching this, he's probably throwing his phone across the room or smashing his computer screen. Corner, you dumb son of a bitch! But and I get it, but we need to surround Anthony Richardson with as much as we can, and right after that is of course corner. So I'm going to go tight end, corner, and then offensive line because our secondary was so bad. Like bottom of the barrel bad.
There's no way you bring in a Lou Anarumo, who's not like a huge name. I'm not trying to say that, but you don't bring in a new defensive coordinator and then don't give him any tools to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe Ballard might. I don't know, but
who knows?
Hopefully I'm wrong. I want to be wrong so bad, but I do believe that you address that. So Alex, I think you will get some of your prayers answered.
Not I don't think it'll round.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a move on up and get trade with the Titans to get the first overall edge rusher. But I think defensive back is somebody that they're going to go after. I mean, that was my number 3 position of need after tight end at number 2 is defensive back because dude, we were hurting really bad.
And very honorable mention safety.
So yes. So when I say DB, I'm plugging in safety and cornerback. As DB. So we're good at nickel. So Kenny Moore is good at nickel. We don't have to worry about Kenny Moore. He proved that this year. Another player that I keep seeing mocked a lot to the Colts in these mock drafts that keep coming out is Malachi Starks out of Georgia, the safety, who I'm going to be watching very closely at the combine. And I hope that he does the drills and everything. I haven't seen a report that says he won't. But he's a kid that I think will really, really help us out at safety because, we'll be losing some safeties. I think at strong safety, Julian Blackmon's going to be a free agent. We don't really have any notable names that really stand out to you in the secondary outside of Kenny Moore. I mean, Juju Brents didn't do bad.
He's got to be healthy. He didn't play.
Right. And that's the thing is availability. If you can't be on the field, you can't help a team.
Mm-hmm.
So
talent doesn't mean shit if you're not out there.
Exactly. Malachi Starks is the big name I keep seeing mocked to the Colts at 14.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about that.
So let me ask you something. If they both fall and Tyler Warren and Malachi Starks are there at 14, what are you doing?
I'm going Malachi Starks and I'm not thinking about it. Only for the simple fact that if I can't find good value in an offensive lineman, and I think I can get an equal guy in the second round, then I'm going to go Malachi Starks because that talent pool is going to fall off because you're going to get your top quarterbacks are going to go, which this is not a quarterback heavy class at all. This is probably one of the weaker classes we've had in a long time. A lot of questions around these quarterbacks. And it doesn't help that some of them are saying they're not going to do drills at the combine.
Except for Shedeur, baby.
You need all the help you can get. Yeah, he's only doing interviews, but he's interviewing with his dad. So, like, dude, come on. Like, be a grown man. Like, don't. It's your career, not your dad's. But yeah. So I'd be really interested in all that.
Yeah, for sure. And another big thing, and I'm full disclosure, I'm kind of a hard pass on most of these for very obvious reasons. I think the Colts and Vic, what's his name, Chris Ballard, has hopefully learned his lesson with these veteran retreads that don't have any tread left on the tires. There's a lot of speculation that the Colts could trade for Matthew Stafford, and look, the Rams, that when they won the Super Bowl, that was the definition of going all in. They bought the farm. They spent every penny that they had. They did everything that they could to win that Super Bowl. It worked. And to be honest, if Chris Ballard went into that mode, I would be more than happy to buy a Super Bowl in 2020, well, I guess 2026, and have a couple of rough years, salary cap wise, whatever. I would be more than happy to sell out by the. This team is not where the Rams were. Like, we are not a trade of Matthew Stafford away from winning the AFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. We're not Matthew Stafford away.
Right.
And that was, 4 or 5 years ago, some shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm a hard pass.
I'm the same way. We've how many times can we make the same mistakes? Now, I'm not saying that Matt Stafford is not better than what we've had. I think he could be the equivalent of what Phillip Rivers was when we got him. But we need to look to the future. Stop living in the past. If you want to bring a veteran backup in, bring in a Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Even a Russell Wilson. But the thing is, you don't want to bring somebody in that's going to, one, threaten. Okay, how do I say this? So you want him to have starting capability, but you still want Anthony Richardson to know, like, hey, we do believe in you. But just in case you start messing around and tapping out, we got a guy.
Let me say this. If you make a trade for Matthew Stafford, you are saying you're done with Richardson. Like, that's they're pulling the ripcord. Yeah. They're done with it. Because that's what that means. Like, if you're going Matthew Stafford, he's your starter. If you make that trade, and that means you should be theoretically going all in to win a championship with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Making a trade like that and keeping Richardson as your starter doesn't make any sense.
And Stafford's going to demand a lot more of the salary cap, which, good news is the salary cap is expected to go up by like 20-something million. So that's a plus. But do you want to spend all that on one guy? Like, come on. Because let's face it, Matthew Stafford is not long-term. He's a 1-year, at most 2-year rental. Let's not play these games anymore. We did that before. We did it with Matt Ryan. Did it with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz did okay. Dude, am I crazy for saying, like, call Gardner Minshew? I'm not. But as a backup, hear me out. As a backup, I don't want to bring a quarterback in to be the starter. I want to bring a quarterback in that can not lose us a game.
And I want to have someone that's a similar skill set to Anthony Richardson. So, like you were saying, Fields, Russell Wilson, someone like that.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to completely change your playbook. This is a running team.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to have to, like, if you become one-dimensional, like when Joe Flacco would come on the field, like, okay, we just stopped the run. You want someone that can keep the same type of playbook going. Oh, there's Alex. Hold on. Alex, let me ask you a question. Did you hear our top positions of need? I'm surprised that you're able to comment after you threw your phone across the screen.
Yeah, it's still working.
Corner, you idiots.
I helped him out. I went DB. That covers corner and safety. I got you, Alex.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think he'll be pissed if we don't go defense in the first round. There's
no way. It's either Tyler Warren or Malachi Starks.
Secondary.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Hey, you know what? You were right last year. We passed on it, and it ended in disaster. I don't think Gus Bradley did any favors to the defense, but that's in the past.
You know what? Chris Ballard right now, he's got his plate full. I guarantee that dry erase board in his office is just lined up with names and little notes by it and stuff like that. So he's going crazy.
Hold on, that Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie Day is explaining whatever the mail, and he's got the cigarettes. Can we talk about the mail? I've been dying to talk. That's probably Chris Ballard with the whiteboard, just freaking out, strung out on coffee, cigarettes, and.
Yeah. Well, good thing is Chris Ballard, even though he is on the hot seat, he doesn't have to worry about what Joe Shane. Oh, do we take a quarterback or do we pay Daniel Jones or So good thing is he doesn't have to worry about that because we all know how that worked out for Joe Shane. Yeah. Congratulations, Saquon Barkley, by the way.
And I think they've already kind of announced it. Aaron Rodgers' time with the Jets is done. I don't know if that's official yet, but
no, it's going to happen. They've already talked to him. They had the press conference at the combine. He even made a statement. He's like, "Look, we've already talked with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not answering questions about this, but I'm afraid of where this is going." But go ahead.
Yeah, there's people like the Colts are a potential landing spot for him, and I'm like, I understand why he's like the Colts love their retirement home quarterbacks. And again, I'm definitely a hard pass. I don't want to use any cap space on this shit. I'm okay. You know what? If this is the kind of shit that you're going to do, go with Anthony Richardson, bring back Sam Ellinger and make him the number 2. Fuck it. Like stop the retreads. Stop these old quarterbacks. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I don't want Stafford. I don't want it. Move forward. If he doesn't work, we can look ahead to what's his name? Let's go get Arch Manning or something like that.
My man, Arch Manning, come home. You're royalty, brother. Come on.
Look to the future.
I'm on the train. Justin Fields, bro. Like, he's not old.
And he won't command a lot of money.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see what the price is. If it's cheap enough, you never know. Some of these guys, agents may be telling them, "Hey, look, man, you did enough to get paid, but not enough to demand money," because he hasn't done anything in the NFL. It's not like he's Matthew Stafford.
No.
Okay? He didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't survive in Detroit in the bad years.
Now I know Alex is trolling.
So
Jimmy G, get out of here.
Oh, bro, come on.
Get out of here.
But when it comes to quarterback, I'm on the Justin Fields train. If not, bring in a guy, bring Gardner back or something. At least he's cheap, and he knows the offense, so
he won't get another starting shot either.
No. But what I'm saying is your backup needs to just be somebody who's not going to lose you the game. Like Fields is mature enough now. Now he wasn't ready in Chicago.
No,
and I think that everybody sees that now. He wasn't ready, even though he was accurate. Gardner was a kid, and he had to grow up, and he did well for us. Almost got us to the playoffs, but that's where I'm at. I'm either Justin Fields, because Justin Fields could potentially do well with their playbook.
Yeah.
And then Gardner Minshew. So what about tight end, man? Like,
well, hold on.
Who you got for that?
And then we talked about it briefly, but I was a little bit drunk. It was during the Super Bowl halftime show. And I was like, you know what? I want to do a sober run of this. What if, and I doubt that it'll happen, not in a million years, that they would make it happen. But what if Joe Burrow would have become available? We talked about it, and like I said, I was a little inebriated. But I honestly, I would package whatever to Cincinnati for it. I would do it. I really would.
I don't know if we could afford Joe Burrow right now.
I would do it. I would 100% do it.
Plus what he's going to take in trade.
I would 100% do it. I would Anthony Richardson a first. Let's ship him whatever.
I would do it for Joe Burrow. Touch Anthony Richardson with Jaguars 10-foot pole.
Well, then that should tell you the confidence that the Colts have going in with Anthony Richardson.
Of course they have confidence. They drafted him. Nobody wants to have freaking mud on their face. I mean, the one person for Chris Ballard to come out and say that, Anthony Richardson, we believe in him, but he has to prove us more. At least it was fair in saying that, but I don't think the Colts could afford Joe Burrow. They'd have to give up years. I mean, if I'm the Bengals, man, I'm not taking anything for Joe Burrow.
He's not going to go. He's not going.
Nah, bro.
But if he were made available, I would make a strong run at him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you throw everything in the kitchen sink at him. But then are you going to have another Andrew Luck situation? You gave up so much to get him.
Now I got to ask the question. Like, this is a little off topic, but why is Alex in our comments and not in the podcast?
Come on, bro. Let's
Come
get
on,
it.
man. The room is open, dude. Join in.
Yeah, they love them some Alex on Unstable.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mr.
brings that youth
Chaotically
element
Intolerant.
that all the
Yeah.
ladies love.
Yeah,
We get
yeah.
the
I mean,
young lady viewers for Alex.
we got the age up here. We don't have the
Yeah,
beauty.
man.
Um,
No.
but with all that being said, Burrow's probably not going to happen. It's a pipe dream. Probably not going to happen.
Guarantee you that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I feel like at least for another year, we need to give Anthony Richardson that last year, and then we can start looking to drafts to find hopefully the next quarterback of the future if it's not him.
Yeah. Don't trade away this first round pick for 2026. You might need it to draft a quarterback. So
yeah.
So Chris Ballard, please listen to what we're saying here.
Yeah. I don't think he's one of our 74 subscribers. And speaking of which, if you're here, press the button, do the stuff, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, we appreciate the support. All the talking in the comments, we love it. So if you have a different order of position group of need for the Colts, drop it in the comments. And we're gonna roll on into pending free agents for the Colts, and this will of course tie into where we think the Colts need to go in the draft. So I'm just gonna start listing off players. We can comment on them as we go. The first one on the list that I have is Will Fries. And like you were talking about the offensive line, he was actually one of the top-rated guards in PFF before he got hurt in Week 5. And that's in both the run and the pass. He's 26. I don't think he'll be extremely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's someone that they should bring back and hope that he stays healthy just because of how well he was doing before the injury.
Yeah. So how about this? Let's play a little game. We'll call it pay or pass. So Will Fries, pay or pass?
I'll pay.
You pay? I agree with that. I pay for the right price, of course. But he knows the offense, so there's a dollar amount to that. So, but yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I'll
pay Will Fries, keep him.
The next on the list, Dayo Odeyingbo, and I liked his production this last year, but I'm going to pass, and it's just because he's getting up at 30. I don't know if he'll have the same production.
Right.
I'm a pass.
Yeah, I'm with you. Pass is I'm gonna go with that too because that age, at age 30, anything outside of like tight end and quarterback, I mean that's a fall off hard.
Yeah.
I mean even these linemen, like, dude, it takes a toll on their body.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I would pass and look somewhere else.
Yeah. Grant Stewart. I'm gonna pay, and I say that for depth at linebacker, which is something the Colts desperately need. Yes. As well as his special teams contribution. So I'm going to say pay.
He came out this year, and Grant Stewart made a name for himself. I wouldn't say he became a household name, but he became a recognizable name for the Indianapolis Colts.
Dude, when he had that 17 tackle game when he filled in, he was everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely earned his spot for next year. I'm with you. I think you pay Grant Stewart.
I'm going to pay him. Next up, wide receiver Ashton Doolin. And again, for kind of the same reasons, I'm going to say pay. His special team contributions, as well as he can fill in the wide receiver core. I don't think he'll be very expensive. And again, he's solid on special teams coverage. So I'll pay him.
I could definitely see that point. I'm actually for the first one. And just so everyone watching at home, like we didn't collaborate on this. So I don't know his choices and he doesn't know my choices.
Just going.
Right. But I'm actually going to pass on Ashton Doolin. Fair. Only for the fact that I think that in special teams, you can get the same production out of Anthony Gould. I think he's just as good an athlete, rookie deal. Because we don't really need Ashton Doolin as a wide receiver so much. Now, did he do well? He had some big plays for us.
Yeah.
But we're going to be starting next season healthy. And you can always find a guy like Ashton Doolin later in the draft or sign a cheap veteran that you can shore that up with, So yeah. I'm going to say pass on Ashton Doolin now.
Okay, fair enough. Danny Pinter. I don't know.
You
I'm
look
going to pass.
conflicted over there.
I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on Piner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to pass on him as well. I don't think that Danny Pinter or Pinter. Is it Pinter? Maybe it's Pinter.
Pinter, it don't matter.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've heard people call Ashton Junty, so I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna pass though. I don't think he's done really enough to solidify a 2025 roster spot. I feel like that same talent you can get cheaper either in free agency or super late in the draft.
Yeah.
But he does know the playbook, and that's a big thing for coaches is they don't have to teach somebody something. Teach somebody the playbook.
I would say if it's like a really great deal or minimum, then maybe. But for the most part, I'm passing.
Yeah. Well, just like with all these, though, money is going to be the factor. If they're cheap enough, they'll stay. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's something that the average fan is not going to look at.
Yeah.
Is they're not going to look at, well, why didn't they keep him? Well, because he was asking for $15 million a year, and we don't have that much cap space. Because if you pay him $15 million a year, where the other cap space going to go? You're going to take away from this position to add to this position?
Little bit of a sidetrack, but people think that you can sign all the top athletes in free agency. Mm-hmm. You can sign all the top guys. Like, that's just not how the shit works. You just can't do that.
They have people here that is their job, is to manage the cap. If you've ever watched the movie Draft Day, okay, you will see that they have a young lady there. That was her job. Her only job was to manage the cap. Yeah. It's that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. So shout out Jennifer Garner. Love your work.
Yeah, for many reasons. Anyway, Mark Glowinski. I'm on the same boat, man. I know depth is important, but again, I'm a pass. Like, I don't believe he did enough. That old line was pretty bad outside of a few players. Like, I think Bortolini was a bright spot. I think Ryman was solid. Quentin Nelson, he was even up and down, but he was fortunately more up than down.
And he's getting older too.
Yeah,
so.
But I'm again with Glowinski. I think there would probably be better free agent talent out there, or maybe mid-draft than Glowinski. I'm a pass.
I'm with you on that. I agree. Pass on that.
Yeah. Sam Ehlinger, and I think this all comes down to if they go Justin Fields or a Russell Wilson, or do something retarded and bring in Aaron Rodgers. If they do something like that, I think Sam Ehlinger at that point is. But if they go into it with just Anthony Richardson, I'm okay with bringing him back as the 2. I don't see you paying a lot for a third, like to stay as a third string quarterback. I don't see it. So
and a guy that he's got to understand and realize, like, and I'm sure his agent has probably told him, like, you're not going to demand a lot of money if you even get signed at all. I mean, because he doesn't have a lot of film. He wasn't like a huge standout in college. He was known for his running ability. And I believe that's the only reason he's still with the Colts, is because they've adjusted their playbook to his style. So that's helped them drafting Anthony Richardson and having to adjust. But no, I don't really see him staying, man, because he's not going to come in. You need a drive. He's not going to win. He's not going to win you a game. He'll lose you a game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry. I'm a Longhorns fan, and I loved watching Sam Ehlinger play. He was real fun, but he's gonna hurt you more than he's gonna help you as a quarterback if he has to go in the game.
Yeah,
like you're gonna change the playbook completely to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. And that's not who you want as your backup. You want to not be able to change your playbook at all.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like that's what hurt the Colts the most whenever it was switching it from Anthony Richardson to Gardner and to Flacco. That really hurt. Like that
signing didn't make sense, did it? Like, why? If you're building around Anthony Richardson, why are you bringing Flacco? Like, I get why ultimately, but it hurts your offense when you do that, because now it's like, okay, well, we know what they're going to do now.
They're going to run.
Right.
So the next one is Ronnie Harrison. I know we need depth. I know we need DBs. I know that's what we need. I'm a pass. That's how I feel about most of the players in the secondary and most on this team. It's just the Colts were not good last year, and I just running it back. I just don't see it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't see Ronnie Harrison getting a lot of money in the open market. I think he's not going to get what he's looking for out there, and he's going to come back to Indianapolis. But as
Like
far as
minimum.
making it a priority to sign, as far as making it a priority to sign him, I don't think that's going to happen. Actually, I'm quite certain that's not going to happen. But I think they would take him back on like a really
Like
low
a
cheap
cheap
deal.
deal.
Yeah, super cheap.
Yeah. Next, EJ Speed. No. Again, I know a linebacker. I said we needed depth, which is why I said Stewart keep. I'm a pass. He was
Yeah.
not consistent at all.
Nah, I'm with you, man. EJ Speed's best years are behind him with Indianapolis.
No.
Now, if he has a resurgence somewhere else, hey, great for him. I hope that goes well for him. I hope he gets paid somewhere else. But it's not working out for him anymore here in Indianapolis. So I do agree with them. Like that's another one that's gonna have to be a cheap deal to keep him. And even then, I don't think the starting job is his if
No.
they draft an outside linebacker in the draft, because he had a lot of shortcomings this season.
Yeah, for sure. Julian Blackman. Again, I don't think anything at safety was anything to write home about with these players.
Nah.
There's Nick Cross there. I think he had a really good season. I liked Blackman in the past, but again, I think his the best years are behind. I'm a pass.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Definitely pass on Blackman. He's just not cutting it here.
Mm. We'll group them both together because my answer is the same for both of them. Boali Cox and Granson. I'm a pass.
Yeah, where's NSYNC out here? Because bye. They've contributed nothing of value. You've said it time and time again. Boali Cox should have been gone a long time ago. And Granson wasn't like a top guy coming out of college or anything like that. So let's not act like he's going to be a big loss. I mean, the biggest picks out of those would have been the guys we still have, Jelani Woods and Will Mallory. And we still and Ogletree. So we still have those guys. So that's not going to be a problem. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Boali Cox and Colin Granson. I'm sorry, like to say it like this, but we don't need you. The team doesn't need you.
Dude,
they're not using
no
you.
contribution.
No.
You're not doing anything here but just eating some salary cap.
Yeah, when you're 8 feet tall and you're not being used in the red zone or getting open, then
that's worrisome.
Deuces, bro.
I'm not even going to say him. That doesn't matter. Defensive tackle Taven Bryan. I'm a pass.
Bye.
Pass. I don't even want to explain. And it pains me to say this, but the next person, Ryan Kelly, I have long since speculated this would have been his last season as a Colt. I'm going to steadfast with that, unless if it's like a cheap vet deal, which I don't think he's going to take. I think Tanner Bordolini more than filled in. He was great at center. I think they have the center of the future with Bordolini, so I'm a pass with Ryan Kelly. I'm going to let him test the free agent waters and maybe go to a true contender.
Yeah, I'm with you because there's going to be some contending teams out there that are going to need a center because they have guys come out in free agency. I would love to see Ryan Kelly come back.
Yeah,
just because it'd be weird to see him in anything other than the blue and white.
Yeah, it was like Saturday going to the Packers. It was just
that was so weird to see, man. Like Saturday at the Packers, Peyton Manning with the Broncos. It didn't make sense. It was ungodly. It shouldn't be allowed.
Like it went into a Twilight Zone episode or some shit, like an alternate reality. Like this isn't real. Like what is happening?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't want it to happen anymore. But for his sake, man, he's been such a great Colt. He stuck it out, and I do want to see him succeed. Like I'd like to see everybody win the Super Bowl because I think that's just the icing on the cake of why you play a sport is to win at the highest level. And he hasn't been able to do it here. And in his age range, the Colts aren't ready for that. Not in his small window that he has left.
They've quite literally wasted his entire career. So
right, and the same could be said about Quentin Nelson too.
Yeah.
He's been all-pro numerous times. He's shown that he's got the talent. Ryan Kelly has shown he's got the talent. He's got the Pro Bowls to back it up. But yeah, man, like I'd like to keep him, but I don't. I think we got to pass on. I'm with you on Bortolini. I think Bortolini is a really good young replacement because he's young enough. We still got drafts down the road. Hey, we may get a gem in the fourth, fifth round. We don't know that. This year, next year after that, we don't know. But yeah, man, I'm with you on that.
I don't know if I don't think we need to go into much depth on this one. Joe Flacco, I'm a pass. Trey Sermon, Saman, I'm a pass. Bye. Yeah, and that's all that I have on the list that I have. I'm okay with this roster looking a lot different than it did going into the 2024 season because the season was a complete disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. A lot of these, we ran it back and it failed. They were worse than the year before. So we need something new, something fresh. Ballard needs to change his mindset.
Yeah.
Running it back and re-signing all these guys, it's not gonna do.
Yeah, you can't make a bad soup taste better by using the same ingredients.
Yeah,
it just doesn't work that way, man.
Yeah, and I will kindly request that Ballard stop trying to dress up a turd and tell us that it's not shit. Like, can you just stop running it back and pretending like this is a Super Bowl team? We all saw it. We know it isn't.
Yeah.
There's a different mindset that needs to happen here.
Well, I like the fact that he said out of his own mouth is losing the Super Bowl is you're there. Like you're almost there.
Yeah.
That's losing the Super Bowl. We didn't even make the playoffs. We didn't come close. So
we're not close.
Come on, we're not close. So don't even act like you're gonna run it back. Like, what are you running back? A bad season? There's nothing to run back to. So let's keep developing, move forward, cut all the fat out, and let's get lean, let's get mean, and dude, let's do something.
We were the 14th worst team in the NFL. Just what would running it back? Like, I understand that there's, I like this Blackman. He made some good plays. I like EJ Speed. He's made some good play. Complete play. Like, it's not there with these guys.
The best case scenario you can expect is say, okay, we were the 14th team, but what do you want? 13th? 12th? I mean,
no. I want to be in the playoff picture. The Colts want to be in the playoff picture. You want to be fighting for that divisional that divisional title, that AFC. Like, this team, like, I'm wearing the hat because this is the only team in the division that has any claim to this shit, and I'm tired of not being near it. I'm tired of one more game we could have snuck into the playoffs. Well, I don't want to fucking sneak. I want to dominate this goddamn division.
Right. It was supposed to be Houston and Indianapolis neck and neck for the AFC South this year, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close.
Like, it seemed like we were fighting. Like, it was like we were only a couple of games from the Texans, but it felt like we were fighting a lot closer to not be in the basement with the Jags and the Titans than it was fighting with the Texans, because the Texans swept the Colts. Granted, it was by a total of 5 points, but it's still a loss. Like,
loss is a loss. 1 point, don't matter. Yeah. What the infamous Dominic Toretto, inch or a mile, win is win.
Yeah.
Even if you're cutting a lot of these older guys. Yes, we talked about it. We're going to miss them in the Indianapolis blue and white. But the thing is if you're getting younger and you're close to that same talent level, at least you'll have that same talent level longer while you look to increase that talent level at that position. So youth has to play a part in this. It has to.
It has to.
I don't think Chris Ballard is dumb to that, though. I mean, he's made some good moves. He understands. I'm not going to sit here and just bash Chris Ballard on everything, because he has made some good moves, and there are things that he understands. I think he's just been very egotistical about it and thinking like you talked about, run it back. Let's run it back. Like, nah, man, you made mistakes.
Very stubborn with that. Run it back. I like the guys we've got. Well, we finished worse than we did the year before. Maybe it was a humbling experience for Ballard. Right. And he'll like get out of that mindset that maybe I was wrong. Like, there's a different way to approach this. Because he never once dipped into free agency. He signed some scrubs like practice squatters. He's like the gems that he found. Like, I've talked about this a lot. Like, I loved his drafting up until this last one. He found a lot of gems late. Like Zaire Franklin, he isn't great in coverage, but he's a great tackler. He understands how to read offenses. Like, he is a really good linebacker. He's just not great in coverage. And you can use that, but it's like this dude was a 7th rounder. Like Jalen Jones, he played way above his draft pick. I think he was a 6 or 7. Like he has found a lot of gems in these drafts late. Yeah. He is a good talent evaluator. This last draft, like I think Latu could still be one of the top dogs if he's used right in the right defense. Gus Bradley.
Yeah.
I do think, like you, the talent is there with Adonai Mitchell. I am a little bit irritated that they chose Adonai Mitchell, didn't move up and grab like Cooper DeJean, who you saw in the Super Bowl on his birthday as a rookie, get a pick 6. And I know if Alex is listening, he was probably fuming about that shit too.
Yeah. Well, Cooper, let's be real. Cooper DeJean would not have been playing in the Super Bowl on his birthday if he played for the Colts.
No.
I mean, just being real about that.
Being real. I mean, but it was cool. And it sucked to see that.
It was Saquon's birthday too, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know, man. So with all this, I mean, it's with all the players that the Colts would be losing if Chris Ballard listened to us. Safety is definitely the top need, up there with corner. So DBs. And based on the players that we would let go if we were the GM running this, I think, like you said, Malachi would probably be the 14th pick.
So, Jeff, let me ask you something. Something that when we did our mock draft episode, what do you think about instead of if you can't land one of these quarterbacks in free agency that would help us, not just any old body, right? But if you can't land one of those, what do you think about drafting a guy 3rd round, 4th round? You know,
I mean, we did that because it was I think it was in the 4th, and it was a steal. Like I highly doubt that they'll I can't remember his name, but I highly doubt
Jackson Dart. Didn't he draft Jackson Dart?
Might have been. I don't remember.
He was a good guy. I mean, he's better than Sam Ehlinger.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't waste the capital on it. Like I really wouldn't. Like if you're really going to go all in with Anthony Richardson, this is kind of his last year prove it deal. I would go in with Anthony Richardson, pick up Fields or Wilson, whichever one you can get for cheaper. So you don't have to change the entire offense. And I just ride with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste the draft picks unless if it's a complete steal, 4th, 5th, 6th round, and you get you feel like you got a 3rd round talent quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll pull the trigger then. But I'm not quarterback is not on my draft list, not with this class. It just isn't on the radar with me.
Yeah. With such a weak class. I think you hold out for next year. And because next year's class is going to be a little better, you're going to have guys like Drew Allar coming out who went back to school. He could have been the top quarterback this year. I have no clue why he chose to go back to school. Hey, get your degree, bro. I'm proud of you. Do that thing.
Yeah.
But you could have come out this year and been the first overall draft pick.
I think some of that decision, like you get paid a lot of money as the first overall pick, but I think some of it has to do with I don't want to go to the fucking Titans. I'm going to stay in college.
I mean, it could be the Titans next year. I mean,
that's true. I mean, you're rolling the dice on that one. But
Dion already said he's going to tell a team no if they try and draft his son. He's going to tell them I don't want you to draft my son. First off, I'm like, hold on, bro.
Tough titties, bro. This isn't how it works.
Right. You've already made your name in the NFL. Why are you trying to ruin it for your son? Because you don't know how it's going to work out. Mm-hmm. You don't. You think Aaron Rodgers was excited about going to the Green Bay Packers behind Brett Favre? He wasn't happy about that.
Where in the fuck was Marvin Harrison to tell Harrison Jr., no, you're not going to the fucking Cardinals to play with 4-foot Kyler Murray? No. Where was Marvin Harrison Sr. in this shit?
Yeah, right?
You're going to go be a Colt like your daddy.
I had so much hope that Chris Ballard was going to do whatever he had to do to bring Marvin Harrison
to bring in legacy.
Even if that meant trading Michael Pittman, trading Josh Downs, who you had just drafted, I'm okay with that. To bring in Marvin Harrison.
If you gotten Pittman, gotten rid of some picks,
and then you give him number 88.
Yeah. No, that should be retired. Give him 86 or whatever, because you can't give him 87 with Reggie White.
If Des Bryant and CeeDee Lamb can wear number 88 for Michael Irvin, okay, which they ain't got no business wearing number 88, then Marvin Harrison Jr. can wear his daddy's number.
That's true.
That's just my belief.
I think it should be retired. It should be retired Colts number.
Oh, 100%.
Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the thing is
if it meant
Marvin
that
Harrison wasn't
Jr.
the one to make number 88 famous. That was John Mackey.
Yeah.
So we ain't got great tight ends on this team like that, like a Dallas Clark or anything like that. We don't have those anymore.
Speaking of, you did bring it up and we forgot to hit it. Trading for a tight end, because if we're going to go safety in the draft, because based on what we're doing here, we've got like none left. We would have to go Starks 14, which would then leave us needing still a tight end.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, and I've said it before, I'm looking at like Atlanta. I'm looking at Kyle Pitts. I think you can get him cheap. I don't think you'd have to give up a lot to get him. His production since his rookie year has been down, but he's an athlete. I think you can make something work with him.
That's a trade that's possible because his production has been down, and he's got another year left on his deal. So that's a trade that is possible. But then again, like I said, Atlanta's got another year on that deal, so they could say, "No, we'll market him next year. We'll trade him next year. Pick up, either pick up his fifth year or not."
Yeah.
But that I would be super intrigued at that. Like if Chris Ballard's not picking up that phone right now and calling Atlanta, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
But there's some decent tight ends out there that are coming up, though. I'm not going to say world beaters, but they're better than what we have for sure.
I mean, if the plan isn't to, because I mean, you're not, like you said, the drop off at safety after like Malachi it's pretty steep. So I think you seriously position yourself. And if this is going to be an all-in year, which it kind of has to be for Ballard, because I feel like if this is a miss the playoffs year, he's fucking done. Yeah. So I feel like he needs to sell the farm, do whatever he can to bring in its top of tier as talent as he can.
I mean, your job is literally on the line. Like you can't hold anything back.
I feel like this would be a year where he would do something in the first to get Malachi and maybe also get that Tyler Warren as well. I don't know what it would take to sell in and get a couple first rounds, but
I mean they're both going around the same range. So you would have to find a willing trade partner. I think in the mid rounds, if you can find a team that is hoping a quarterback's going to fall and that quarterback doesn't fall, I think then you can pick up the phone real quick and be like, "Hey, look, you didn't get a guy that you needed. Give me that pick. Let's work something out."
Yeah.
But that's where Chris Ballard's supposed to earn his paycheck is on draft day.
Yeah. So I think that's something he would need to do. Like, again, if they don't do a trade for Kyle Pitts, or I don't see any really good tight ends really hitting the market. Like I feel like that's a position that just doesn't happen with. If he doesn't pull the trigger on a trade,
I don't know, bro. There's some good ones coming up. Let me run a couple names by you and see what you think. All right. We'll go back to pay or pass. All right, Tyler Conklin coming from the Jets. He's 29 years old.
I'd look at him.
Okay. Juwan Johnson, 5 years in the league, 28 years old, coming from the Saints, who's had a pretty decent career there. Not a blocker. He's more of a pass catcher.
I feel like that's just getting more of what we already have. Like I feel like that's looking at Ogletree, and like he's got that wide catch radius, but neither Ogletree or Jelani are like great blockers.
Okay, all right. I think Juwan Johnson's better than what we have right now. Awesome. Another one, Austin Hooper, a big body guy, made his money in Atlanta with Matt Ryan, but hasn't really done much since. He's bounced around. He took a big paycheck with the Browns, and then now he's with the Patriots. But he's 30 years old, so he's got a couple more years until his big fall off.
Pass.
Pass on that. Okay. This is probably the outside of Mercedes Lewis, because that dude should just retire already. But Zach Ertz, the 34-year-old coming out of Washington. So he showed with Washington that he still had something in the tank. Now he wasn't Zach Ertz of Philadelphia. Like let's not even kid ourselves there. And he's bounced around for some teams, but he's like a 1 year guy in my eye. 1 year, maybe two if you get him cheap enough. But I don't know if I'm crazy on this, but my biggest want out of these upcoming free agents is Mike Gesicki.
That's what I was just about to say.
Dude, Mike Gesicki is a sick athlete. and he's only 29 years old. So he's had his time with Miami, and now he's with the Bengals. So he was in a speedy offense with Mike McDaniel. Okay. And now he was just with Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. So he's played in a really good passing offense. You know what you're getting with that guy. 7 years experience. He's ready for that step.
Yeah.
I think you can get him. I don't know what he made $2.5 million last year. So if you offer him that and a job, I think you could bring him and he could be a good move tight end. He's my favorite out of this list. I don't know. What about you?
They have him ranked in PFF in the free agent overall rankings at 76 for Gesicki and Juwan at 38. I don't know if I'd put Gesicki as high as 38, but I would definitely flip Gesicki and Johnson.
Okay. I think that's more because of the production that Juwan Johnson had, but I think he also benefited from that offense kind of being crappy and Derek Carr being crappy.
Yeah.
So because tight ends and passing running backs, they benefit from a weak arm.
Yeah.
Look, I like me some Derek Carr, but he's not what he used to be, man. He doesn't have the arm strength. He's just older, Father Time's undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like in free agency, if they were like, you know what, come on, Gesicki, let's go. I think that if they did something like that, I think you're guaranteeing that you're getting Malachi at 14. Like I don't think there's any. I mean, he might fuck around and be like, oh, edge rusher again. Come on, Gregson, Mr. Philip Dorsett.
Yeah. I mean, because look, Gesicki is not going to replace a Tyler Warren. And neither one of us are saying that.
No. Because
Tyler Warren's amazing. Yeah. But I saw his comp that I saw somebody had was Jeremy Shockey. If you remember him.
Oh, yeah.
Played with the Saints and the Giants. Really good tight end. Really good. But that's who they compared him to. But I think you could take a flyer on Gesicki. But this is a really good tight end class. I don't think you have to take a tight end first. You've got guys like Colson Loveland, who's probably could be a late first rounder. Like he's super talented. Colson Loveland's amazing. And then there's another guy who's kind of under the radar. Only like the serious people know him is Harold Fannin Jr. And he's from a little college named Bowling Green. And this kid is super athletic. I think at the combine, that's going to open up a lot of the fans' eyes. If you actually watch the combine, you're going to see an athlete that you're going to beg to get in like the second, maybe even the third if you fall. If Harold Fannin Jr. falls in the third round and you don't have a tight end yet, you grab him and you do not think about it. Mm-hmm. And you will reap the benefits of it if listen to me, Shane Steichen, if you use him. That's the big thing. If you use them. You could take another Jonathan Taylor, but if you don't use him, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
See, that was the probably the next and the last thing we were going to talk about. They had one more player as projected to go in, and I think the Colts have been scheduled, I don't know, interview with him or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I am, if the Colts were like in the position like the Eagles or the Chiefs or Buffalo, where you kind of have that luxury.
The luxury
to where you can, we don't have a whole lot of needs across the board. Let's grab another running back to go with Jonathan Taylor. I think if you're in a position of luxury, that you absolutely do the Detroit Lion thing. You go and grab a running back high. People laugh at you, and then oh shit, they have the best dual threat, one of the top offenses in the league. So, but I think the Lions,
they did some voodoo that year. Remember they had DeAndre Swift. They traded DeAndre Swift for David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Because they just gave up on him. And then they turn around in the same draft and get Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. And it worked out. It worked amazing for him. Those guys were getting touchdowns apiece every game. It was crazy. The Colts are not in a position of luxury. I don't think. Could you imagine if Chris Ballard went running back at 14? Like we might riot in Houston.
That reminds me of that scene in Draft Day where the owner comes in just raging, like, what are you doing? I feel like if you take Ashton Genty, or as some cats out there call him Ashton Junty, like, come on, bro, like learn.
I'm not saying that he's a bad running back. I'm saying based on where the Colts are roster wise and needs, and based on if Malachi is there, if Tyler Warren's there, and you go fucking Gentry at running back, like,
Jim Irsay should walk in that room and say,
fire him.
"Get out now, you're done."
Yeah.
And then I don't care. Jim Irsay can draft the rest of it. I don't care.
He might be a phenomenal pick. Gentry might be incredible. He might be.
He's the best running back in the he's amazing.
Is he going to turn this Colts team? Is he going to make us turn the corner? Is he going to run our asses to a Super Bowl? No. We don't have
because you have the same guy in Jonathan Taylor who you already paid. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Ashton Jeanty would make a great addition to the team, but you don't need him. You don't need another starting running back. You have one. If you get running back, which this class is super loaded with running back. The combine do not miss running back day. Do not. I'm telling you, everybody, watch your running backs. There's so many great running backs. We could get a running back late, like third, fourth round, even later. There's so many of them.
Yeah,
that can be a compliment to Jonathan Taylor. Who these guys are so good that even if Jonathan Taylor were to go down, they could have that Braylon Allen effect that they have in New York behind Breece Hall. Like, he can come in and he can take over and be just as good.
And I personally haven't given up on Evan Hull. The guy is fast. He's a good pass catching back, and the guy is fast. Like, I have not given up on Hull being the backup running back.
The only problem is he's just a guy. But the good thing is with being just a guy, that means he's a cheap guy.
Yeah.
That's what that's going to mean.
I haven't given up on Hull. So I can't see a world or a scenario where, like, Gentry at 14 based on where the Colts are right now. That would be terrible.
That's the worst possible pick. The worst thing you could do
for the Colts.
For the Colts.
If you're like the Eagles and you go Gentry, it makes perfect sense. You alleviate
because you got Barkley for a couple of years.
Yeah,
you work Gentry into the offense.
It's a luxury pick. You've got everything else on your team. You can go. You have that luxury. Colts don't have it.
No. I think the Chiefs had that situation happen to them about 3 or 4 years back, where they didn't need a tight end, didn't need a receiver, they didn't need any position. Everything was loaded, and they were somewhat young too. And I think that's when they drafted was it Clyde Edwards-Helaire with a 32nd pick, which didn't work out at all. Like, he was a product of his offense in LSU with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But we ain't got that problem.
Unfortunately, we don't have that problem.
Bro, we're Swiss cheese over here. Yeah. We have all the holes going on.
Like, there's some really good players, and like there's like Swiss cheese is delicious, but it doesn't make a good football team. You've got some really good pieces.
Good. Our uniforms look clean and good, but it ain't working out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh well. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end it. We are going to try to do at least one pod a week. I know we kind of fell off there. We're in Super Bowl vacation mode, and but we're going to try to come to you every week. At least try to. I know we're coming to you on a Monday. We typically would do for the shoe Friday. We try to come out on Fridays, but yeah, we'll try to pop out with at least one a week. And yeah, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Do the same over at Kingmaker_DFF for Justin. He's got it in the name. Just like me, you can find me pretty much all my handles are Big Steak 88. But yeah, drop a comment. Let us know anything you agree with, disagree with. Talk to us. We'll throw you in the next episode. Until then, be good people. Bore the shoe, baby. Let's go, Colts. Get your shit together, Ballard.
See y'all next time.
Let's go next time.